Hey everybody, Michael Snyder here, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is August 3rd, and today we're taking a look at this system diving down across the Gulf of Alaska for the Pacific Northwest. It's going to keep us cool here for the next couple of days, bring some precipitation, mainly Seattle north. You can see here this upper level low spinning off the coast of California is entraining some of this moisture from ex-Hurricane Frank. This will eventually spin around out here off the coastline and eject across the Pacific Northwest and bring an end to our little mini heat wave that's coming up this weekend on in through early next week. We'll look at some of those details here in a moment. So looking a little bit closer at the visible satellite imagery, you can see the low clouds encompassing the Puget Sound here. If you go up into the mountains, though, you get some nice sunshine pretty quick, but a lot of these clouds will burn off this afternoon across the region. You can see some lenticular cloud activity here for the North Cascades. You can see the clouds extending all the way over British Columbia as this system dives down, starts bringing precipitation today and on in through tonight and overnight into tomorrow morning across the region. Looking across the rest of the country here, you can see some heat advisories across the central portions, and you see the red flag warnings for Montana, Washington, Oregon. It's very dry out there right now. It just takes a spark to start some fires, so heads up for that. Seattle Tacoma International Airport, 77 yesterday. Average high 79. We're going to be below average again today and probably tomorrow before we start to warm up again as we get into the weekend and early next week. We'll go into those details in a moment. And this is Pendleton, Oregon, yesterday 97, above average still. And you can see that average high is 91 this time of year. And by the end of August, you can start to see it trail off there to 83 degrees. So still warm there for some of the eastern portions. You can see here infrared satellite imagery simulation here on the NAM3KM. This kind of shows the system move through, and you can see the frontal system slide through overnight tonight and kind of keep us cloudy and some strong onshore flow as we go through the day on Thursday, and then we start to relax the gradients here on Friday before we start to warm up again this weekend. But if we take a look here, you can see as this system moves in today, you'll probably see some lenticular cloud activity across the Cascades, and you can kind of see it even highlighting off of Mount Rainier here. So get your cameras ready out there if you like lenticular clouds and you get a chance to get out there and take some pictures before this cloud shield eventually overtakes the region and obscures everything this evening and tonight. Now taking a look here, the European yesterday afternoon's run, we're going to take a look at the system moving through here. You can see just some tiny amounts down towards Portland. Seattle north will be the winners. British Columbia getting some good precipitation out of this as well, maybe to help squelch some of the fires. But as we go through into this week, and you can see we dry out, but take a look. You can see the European picking up that upper level low off the coastline here. You can see it spinning out here as we build the heat up across the region. Then you see it eject up over the Pacific Northwest starting on Tuesday night. And you can see this would bring some convection to the area. Could it bring a thunderstorm to Portland or Seattle, Vancouver, BC? Is yet to be seen. It's a ways out there, but the models are picking up on this upper level low that will bring it into this mini heat wave coming up here and potentially some convection for the area. And we'll continue to monitor that as we get closer. But taking a look here, this is lightning flash density, instantaneous flash rate here on the European. As we go on into mid next week and kind of see this highlighted here, and it even shows it targeting the Puget Sound, some of Vancouver Island here, as we go over in Tuesday night into Wednesday mornings. We'll continue to watch this and see just what comes of this system. This is how we can get a thunderstorm around here during some of the summer months. So we'll watch that one. Here's the GFS. You can see this is a Tuesday night. You can see it start to introduce this precipitation back up a little bit here, and you can see that upper level low. The GFS has it also. And so this ejects across, brings that marine push for the region, but could bring some convection also. Has a little bit later timing on this, as you can see this convection going on during Wednesday and Wednesday afternoon. So we'll continue to watch that one as it brings an end to this mini heat wave coming up. This is the NAM3KM. This kind of highlights the frontal system moving through. You can see it's not very strong, mainly Seattle north for precipitation totals. And you can see maybe a stray shower or two down towards Portland with this weak frontal system, but the main winners for this are going to be British Columbia and area Seattle north. And this is looking at the European here. Now, I wanted to kind of show this because this is now, you can see the system and the upper air aloft here is pretty chilly, keeping us below average temperatures, but you can see the heat start to build up again. And you see that upper level low spinning off the coastline here and finally brings some more marine influence back into Pacific Northwest here as this upper level low ejects across Pacific Northwest. So that'll bring it into the next one, and then you can see after that one we even build the heat again in the extended here on the European. So we'll continue to watch this ebb and flow of marine air and possible warm-ups as we go into the future. This is the European 500 millibars, 18,000 feet. This shows that system sliding through today quite well. You can see the upper level low kind of meandering across the coastline here. Over the last heat wave, we had a similar position of the low, and the GFS kicked it through a little bit quicker, but we ended up staying warmer on Sunday to allow us to break that record for Seattle of 6 straight 90-degree days. It held this low off further, so we're the confidence isn't that high in just when this low is going to eject across Pacific Northwest, but the European did do better with that upper level low last time, so I'm going to go ahead and trust it this time as well. So this is probably going to start to come in during Tuesday afternoon and Tuesday night, so we'll continue to watch that one, and maybe we'll get a thunderstorm here west of the Cascades. As we go on in through the extended a bit here, you can see the ridge rebuild in the extended of the European here and maybe warm us up again. So we'll continue to watch this pattern as we go on into the future. Now this is Tri-Cities European yesterday afternoon's run. You can see that cool down from the system coming through today and tomorrow, and then that warm up as we go on in through later this weekend into early next week, and just kind of showing seasonable temperatures as we go through the extended, but that will probably change as well. Seattle Tacoma, you can see the warm up starting here Saturday night, probably 1, 2, 3 days above 80 degrees, maybe a fourth day on Tuesday, fairly warm before that upper level low kicks through the area and maybe even giving us a thunderstorm here. We'll continue to watch that. Here's Portland. You can see the 3-day warm up coming here Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So it looks like that 3-day warm up is going to, the confidence is increasing in that coming up here. You can see some of his ensemble members for the European over Portland here, calling some of them up towards 100 degrees here. So we'll continue to watch that as it's still summertime here in the Pacific Northwest, obviously. Now, this is looking at Seattle Tacoma. You can see we're kind of trended downwards. It showed 1/10 of an inch a few days ago. Now it's down towards just a couple hundredths of an inch of precipitation as we went into yesterday afternoon. So maybe we'll get, a couple hundredths of an inch. We'll wet the pavement, but not much more than that. Here's Snohomish County, Painfield, just north of Seattle. It actually trending upwards a bit here since July 31st, and you can see now it's up towards calling maybe 3/10 of an inch of rain here as we go on in through Thursday into the early afternoon. Portland International, you can see it did have some measurable precip a few days ago. Now it's all but just maybe a trace amount as we go through the day tomorrow for Portland. So if you're looking for miserable rain down there, sorry to disappoint you. Vancouver International Airport, probably a couple tenths of an inch is a good bet there. Now we're looking at fire danger here. Isolated dry thunderstorms again possible today, August 3rd. You see the elevated fire danger risk here. East slopes of the Cascades, Washington, Oregon, eastern Washington, and at critical levels there near Great Falls, Montana. Here's day 2. Elevated concerns remain. And now we're looking at the smoke here. You can kind of see this is surface-based smoke. You see the active fires going on down there. Looks like the McKinney fire is even still kicking off some forest fire smoke there. Vantage. And you can see this is generally pushing off to the east. You can kind of see the flow of this. Now, as we move into the heat wave here, or the mini heat wave, we might start to bring some of the smoke up across the region here, especially with the winds aloft. Doesn't necessarily mean surface smoke is going to make its way into Portland, Seattle, or Vancouver, but we could definitely see some smoke aloft coming up across the region here in the extended. 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. This was yesterday. You can kind of see it highlighting this heat we're going to be dealing with through early next week, and the monsoon season signal remains. Look at this for Alaska, well below average, well, not well below, but a high chance of below average temperatures coming up through the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook for Alaska. And 6 to 10 day precipitation. Monsoon season is going on through the southwest. That is why that signal is there. So yeah, so we're looking for a nice couple of days if you enjoy the break from the heat, especially if you're here for Seattle and Portland through British Columbia, and nice onshore flow continuing. But we're going to do this heat again, at least a little bit of a heat wave coming up here, probably 80s for Seattle, 90s for Portland. And we're going to warm up again for the eastern portions of the state here, but we might end this with some convection here as we go through mid next week. We'll continue to watch the timing on this upper level lows. It moves across Pacific Northwest. So maybe a little bit of excitement in store finally for western portions of Oregon, Washington, and British Columbia here, convection wise. Maybe get some lightning in here. So anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying the day. Click like and subscribe, and we'll talk about this again tomorrow. We'll watch the timing on that upper level low and how long this heat wave will last.